Welcome back, everybody. Those of you that have been subscribed to the channel for a while now know that I've been a big fan of challenge targets. I've used several other systems. We got a new one in, so what we're going to do today is go over it, talk about some of the details of it, how convenient it is, which is one of the reasons I do use them often, because I cart these things all out in my Mustang every time I come out here. So for now, we'll keep putting some rounds on it and then get into some of the details of the target system coming up next. The target system is a three-piece system. You have your base, then you have your 2x4, which is the only piece that's not included, but most of us have a million 2x4s hanging around the house. And then you have the target head, or the, in this case, the head and torso. So those are your components. Take a look here at the base first. You can see it's heavy gauge steel, all nicely welded together. It does come painted, and it's not assembled, so you do need to actually insert these two bolts and tighten them down, but anyone with a wrench and minimal mechanical inclination can do that, no problem. The base here is nice because it has these two tensioning screws here, because not all 2x4s are the same size, as many of you out there probably already know. But when you get it in there, it may have some wobble, as this one here does, and you just tighten these down by hand, and it will snug it right up. Now, one thing I like about the base here is that it allows you to drive it in here with your foot, which is exactly what I've been doing. I've been using this ledge here to push it in, that hard southeastern baked clay that I shoot in that field out there. Now, if you guys have extremely hard soil, which I'm not sure, maybe like frozen soil, you can actually use a sledgehammer or really any size hammer and hammer it in should you need to do so. Now, again, I shoot on pretty hard clay. I haven't had to do so it's not a problem at all. And some of you guys probably will be able to just push it in with your hand depending on the kind of soil you have out there. I apologize for not being able to fit it in, but here is the target portion of the target itself, the torso. It is 20 inches long and 8 inches wide, and it is composed of AR500 steel. It is 1/4 inch thick, so that way it's rated for all Magnum, or all non-Magnum, I should say, handgun rounds. I've shot it with everything up to 10mm, and it's obviously no worse for the wear. As you can see here, it's been painted several times, and I didn't paint over this one just to show you guys that there's no divots or dimples or anything from any of the handgun rounds that we've been shooting at it, and it works just fine. Now, one of the things that's great about this target system from Challenge Target is how the springs work, which we'll kind of show you here. You can see even with my hand, not actual metal hitting it, it rings extremely loud, and that's due to the springs here on the back. Now, these are industrial grade springs, as they call them, and as you can see here, as I have it installed, is how it's supposed to be installed. It's not all the way scrunched up, and there's some play in those springs, which they're supposed to be. That aids in the ringing, which you guys heard earlier, just from me hitting it, as well as you heard earlier in the intro of the video with the bullets hitting it. It rings nice and loud to give you that positive affirmation that everybody likes with steel targets, and it also aids in absorbing the shock of the rounds and deflecting the spall, so that way it's safe to shoot. And this one here is safe to shoot with a minimum distance of 7 yards per the manufacturer. I know that I'm not the only one that carts my targets out to the range every time we go out there, and in addition to being able to be broken down into different components like the 2x4 base and the head, another thing that aids in the maneuverability of it is the total package, minus the 2x4 obviously, only weighs 18 pounds, so it's great. To take out to the range, it's not going to load down your car, and carry it out there if you have to go a little distance. It certainly isn't bad at all. Now, one thing that's also great about these targets, like all challenge targets, is that they're reversible. So this is the side I've been shooting up. But as many of you know, if you shoot steel long enough, or if you own like a range perhaps, and you have these targets out there, eventually after tens of thousands of rounds, they do start to show wear. When that happens, you can just flip the target around and switch out your nuts and bolts and flip it and have a nice fresh surface to start again. And honestly, if you shoot enough to wear these targets out, you probably won't mind replacing them down the road, but it does sort of double the life of the target being reversible. So certainly something that's nice about these targets. And the whole system here comes to market, I believe, at $179 for everything that you've seen throughout the video, again, minus the 2x4. And those 2x4s, obviously, another nice thing about them is you can raise and lower the height of the target depending on, you know, your shooting conditions, height of your berm, all that stuff, which is also nice. But for the money, you definitely get a lot of target, and like I said, you'll shoot a lot of rounds before you ever have to replace it. Now, the system is compatible with several other offerings that challenge makes. So if you want to buy like the torso target, if you want to train like I said, body shots, head shots, however you want to work it for training scenario, you can do that. And if you want to add like maybe a rifle plate later on down the road, you can do that and use the same base. So that's certainly something that's nice about this target system now. If you guys have any questions about this target system that I didn't answer here or anything else, you can also post below in the comments section like always. You can also post over at my Facebook page. But thanks as always, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I hope to see you in the next video.